You still need to lay, is that your problem? Yes, okay.
Ooh. Ooh, that one's still warm. Thank you, chickens. So we're back in the kitchen today and we're going to be cooking up one of our summer favorites, which is kind of like a quiche, kind of like a frittata, a hybrid, if you will, using a load of courgettes from the garden and a little bit of onion, but also something else that we have a lot of around here, which is fresh eggs from the chickens. It's a really nice, simple dish, so let's crack on, pun intended.
So, step one is to prepare a pan. Now, we've made this recipe many times, sometimes with pastry and sometimes not. We're going to use pastry today because we have some left over from the last one we made. Grab some butter, or if you're in one of those countries that have spray oil, butter, whatever. I used to love that in Australia. We haven't seen anything like that here. But grease your pan.
And did you make your own pastry, like a pastry chef?
Not this time, but now it's added to the list, I guess. I have started my sourdough starter, so bread making is back on the agenda. All right, so this is how it comes. We're going to use all of it?
Probably, yeah.
So it's phyllo pastry that comes in these super thin sheets. Oh, it's been in the fridge a bit. It's drying out a little bit. These sheets are a little bit more rectangular than our square dish, so this is how we get around it. Okay, that is now ready for awesomeness to go in there. That's your job.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
I can do the easy bit.
So this dish is going to celebrate courgettes in two different ways. We're going to have courgettes in the filling, and then we're also going to put some on top. So the ones in the filling I'm going to grate so that they kind of go down to almost nothing. And then on top we're going to do some grilled courgette.
Explain your onion chopping technique here, because it's very different to mine.
I don't know if I would call it a technique, but I leave the root on, otherwise it can all start falling apart.
Well, that's what happens when I do it.
Well, there you go. That's why I'm doing it this way. Depending on the size of the piece of onion I want, I will cut either very fine like this, or maybe slightly wider, sometimes just slices. But now when I take slices across, you get nice small pieces. And then when it gets towards the end, just kind of drop it down. And then this I might put in a stock, or I might just kind of cut it down to the root a bit more.
Same thing, but different.
Oh.
Are you a bit upset?
Yes, I'm getting emotional.
Things not going to plan there. That's some fast grating, my friend.
I'll just put it on time lapse. That's why it looks so fast. Good hand action.
Yeah, you've had lots of practice. In the kitchen, I mean. So this is for the slices that go on top.
Yep.
Now, we've not done this part before.
We have not.
We've done asparagus. Is it not going to get a bit soggy on top?
Well, I'm going to grill them first.
But still.
Well, we'll find out.
So, onion, salt.
Yeah, so the salt just helps to bring some of the moisture out of the onion, so it cooks faster, caramelizes, and everything is...
Tastes awesome.
Everything is tasting great from the very beginning. So I know that that looks like a lot, but it will cook down a little bit.
This is a genius invention, the two-hob grill thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's one of my favourite features of this cooker. So all of this steam and bubbling is good, because it means we're getting rid of a lot of the moisture, and it won't end up making our quiche frittata flan thing too soggy. You can never have enough cheese, right? Good job I don't cook from recipes.
Or look at the calorie count.
Counting calories is not on my program.
No.
Maybe it should be. That's probably about 100 grams of cheese. Maybe a bit less, maybe 80. All of the moisture has cooked out of our courgette filling. Quick taste test as always. Good on the salt, needs a bit of pepper, and a little bit of acidity, so I'll put a little bit of apple cider vinegar in from our own failed cider experiment. And
Learning.
yeah, learning experiment. Ooh, very thin shell.
So explain to me what's going on with this extra glass.
Just in case we get any dodgy eggs or old eggs, this means I'm only discarding one rather than ruining the whole batch. What's that, 5? We can probably squeeze 6 or 7 in there. Should we do 6 in case people want to follow along at home and they just want to buy a pack of 6 eggs?
Sure.
Let's do that. Good dollop of mustard for flavour.
Whole grain, not English.
Not English, not Dijon. And a bit of cream. Could use milk. Whilst we don't really have a recipe with all the measurements and stuff like that, we'll put all the details of how we made it and the ingredients that you'll need into a recipe on our website, and there's a link in the description. It's time to assemble. Whack all of that in there.
Definitely not as much as it looked like when you were cooking it
Exactly. Now is the point where I go, maybe could have used more courgette. We want to make sure that there's enough room for
Yeah, I mean, it's
the
not
egg
a
mixture.
courgette flan, it's a...
Is it a flan now?
I don't know what it is.
I just know it's delicious.
It's different every time.
It's different every time when you cook like this.
Yeah. Could also cut the pastry off, but...
Oh no, I like to leave
I was
the...
going to say, there's no point, and it's there as crunchy yumminess.
Yeah, you get some nice crispy bits.
It's so yellow, isn't it?
Because underneath the pastry will be quite soft. I think we need some more eggs in
I was
there.
going to say, you could have a lot more eggs in there, and probably a lot more courgette in there. So another 6 eggs.
Well, we had them, and I think we've got space. If you're going to make something like this, get a dozen eggs and see how many fit in your dish. Because I bet your dish will be different sizes to ours.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter how many eggs, it's...
Exactly.
You just want to get a good egg to greens ratio. Cheese or courgette first?
I think cheese last.
Okay.
To get the gratination. There we go. A celebration of courgette.
It's so British sometimes.
You're so Australian sometimes.
Oh, I know.
And we've got the oven preheating to 180 degrees Celsius, which I think is 350 Fahrenheit. But really, you should all just adopt the metric system.
You're not going to make friends and influence people by saying that, you know that.
That's why I gave them the option of Fahrenheit. Carefully. Don't spill.
Burn yourself, like I always do.
Ooh, steamy. I think that needs another 10 minutes at least. Look at that. Ooh, that pastry is still crispy. You have arrived at the perfect time.
Is lunch ready?
It is ready.
I am not ready. I'm covered in sawdust, but I'm very hungry. Oh, it looks good, doesn't it?
It matches your t-shirt.
It does. Well, that's the only problem. There we go.
Are you going to come up for air at some point?
It's really eggy. How many eggs do we put in there? 12.
Do you think it's too eggy?
No, it's just eggy. Good eggy. You can barely taste the courgette, interestingly.
Oh, maybe we should have put in 12 courgettes instead of 12 eggs.
It's just giving it some What's the word? Texture.
You are covered in texture.
This is very, very tasty. Very tasty. Yeah, you could hide this for kids. I know kids don't often like courgette. This is an excellent way of getting vegetables into their diet, assuming that they like eggs. That would also be excellent with courgette and potato. Also
More like a frittata.
Yeah, also because I really love potato. But yeah, there's definitely space in there for other vegetables. So airing more on the side of the frittata flan, less on the quiche side. That's excellent. Can we sit down and eat properly now so that I can concentrate on shoveling more food into my mouth?
You have such a way with words.
I'm so hungry.
So it seems like this was a huge success, which is excellent news because I'm going to sit down and eat it in a second. But there is just one outstanding question, which is what should we call this? It's not really a quiche, but it's also not really a flan or a frittata. So help us out, lovely people. If you've got a good name for this, do let us know down in the comments below. And if you want to make it, we'll also put together a recipe on the website. There'll be a link in the description. But that is it for this one. We will see you in the next video. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. Sorry, still got my mouth full.